10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feel the power.
Music Familia Productions. World premiere.
You'll never get the best of me, I'm anti-everything. You'll never get the best of me, I'm anti-everything.
Antman and Siobhan bring you so much, live, local, and raw, every Thursday from AntmanVs Studios. Music, news, interviews, plus so much more, and it starts now.
And now, here's your host.
Hey, what's going on, Music Familia? We are back for a brand new episode of AntmanVs this week, and we have a very special guest on the phone with us waiting. But before we get into that, I need to pay some bills here real quick, so I'm going to give a shout out to my man Jonathan Boyer from Shamrock Printing. Check him out, shamrockprinting.com, or give him a call, 740-349-2244. I'm going to give a shout out to Paul's Nightclub, Janine, and all the boys and girls down there in Lancaster, Ohio. Much love to all you guys down there. Also, Rockstar's Glue 3.0. Roxy and all the boys and girls over there take care of the Antman, so definitely take care of them and check them out. Rockstar's Glue 3, POINTO.com. I want to give a shout out to Lynette's Country Barbecue, my man Larry Trimmer as well. Great partner in crime, and some great catering as well. If you're into barbecue and that sort of thing, hit him up, 740-304-5303. And Ohio Local Music, my man Thor and Terry holding it down over there. So, we're going to get into this right now, man. What's going on, Sista Lu? How are you?
Hello. I am doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Oh, man. You know, I can't complain. It's one of those nights. You know, it's hot here in Ohio.
Yes. You know the humidity sits on your back like damn taxes, don't it?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, I'm from Michigan, so back home, you know, it's a lot different. It's either really cold or really hot. There is no in between, but I feel like Ohio is its own little piece of hell, you know?
Absolutely. It's flips and flops. Every day is something different. Dare I say it's like our representation in government.
No.
Dare I say that, honey?
So, first and foremost...
Wait a minute, honey. Speaking on that, you got to give me a formal introduction.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I would like to say hello to everyone. My name is Sista Lu. That's Sistalu. I'm your all-around entertainer, honey. I give you custom-made experiences coming to a stage near you.
So how long have you been in comedy and doing the whole stage act?
Well, you know, the whole stage thing started a long time ago, and I would say formally my stage experience started about 20 years ago. I've always been a lively person. I come from a large family of loud people, so if you wanted to get heard, you had to say it and say it quick, and it better be meaningful, make them laugh or something. So growing up, you know, I got hired to host events, or like you go to a birthday party and they'd be like, get up there and tell some jokes. You know what I'm saying? How they ask you to do a certain dance or something like that, and eventually I got hired. I was working with the city of Columbus, doing different events, also doing public speaking for like cultural diversity. And then I got linked with doing a Afrocentric festival, and I really am passionate about the community. So it was like a win-win situation. And I worked with that organization for about 12 years.
Wow. So what first drew you to comedy out of all the things? I mean, you know, being an activist and working in the community as much, what really drew you to being a comedian first?
I would say it stems from my dad. He was a joke teller from the time he woke up to the time he went to bed. And he told a lot of dirty jokes, too, like Rodney Dangerfield type comedy, you know what I'm saying? Definitely a different time and a different era when I grew up, listening to him and his brothers, you know, how they would tell jokes and stuff like that. So I would jump right in right along with them. And that was just a way of, you know, carrying that banter. And we would discuss different things, but if they were very heavy or something really, really serious, they would find a way to kind of make it into a joke where you would learn something, but it just take a little of the edge off. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that's, I think, the best way to learn. You know, kids don't learn like that these days, man. They're too busy looking down in their screens. Are you there?
Hello?
Hello? Did I lose you?
Yes, you did. What happened?
Okay, so I was just saying that, you know, I think these days that unique way is pretty much gone. You know, I think a lot of the kids spend a lot of time in their screens. You know.
You know what's really cool is that we can't underestimate all of them, though. I find that when I'm engaging with kids, and I don't have any children myself, but my nieces and nephews, you know, different teenagers I see out or whatever, I just start talking to them, and they always respond.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, let me show you this, or whatever it is, you know, they literally would put their phone away quickly. But, you know, granted, their attention span is short, but there might be a little bit of hope for them, you know, not as much hope as I got from my edges, you know what I'm saying?
Right, you know. So, you know, you have to be a certain kind of person, you know, especially to be a comedian in today's industry. You have to have a certain layer of tough skin, you know. What's it like for you, you know, being a female in the comedy?
Well, it's a delicate balance. I will definitely say that, because I have to, being my personal life and my professional life have to be completely separate. The double standard of in the sexism is always going to be there, so there's nothing I can really do about that, but I make sure that I maintain my own presence and level of respect. So even though I may talk about fellatio on stage, there's no way that anyone that I've worked with would ever approach me with a penis in their hand. Can I say that, or can I just
Yeah,
say
you're good. You're
But you understand what I'm saying? So I can make a joke on stage about fellatio, and by no means does that diminish my respect once I step off the stage.
Right.
So it's all about how you carry yourself and making sure that it's a real extension of who you are. That's why people call me Sista Lu. It stemmed from when I was working with the community, and that's how I engage with everyone.
So using the humor and using, you know, stories from your life and stuff like that, what is it like for you out in the community and you see people out there? I mean, how does the interaction? Do they remember you because of that sole reason, because of your openness?
Absolutely. I think that I give and get more hugs than anything. And oftentimes I may feel bad because I remember faces, but not necessarily the names. But the connection is always there. You ever notice how sometimes you're talking with a complete stranger and you can engage with them better than you can with people in your circle?
Yeah.
I end up being that person, that stranger. I mean, honey, I got secrets on people, but I have integrity. I would never tell. But I done heard some stories.
Yeah. You know, I get that same kind of thing. You know, being in the media, being in the public eye, and doing the media thing. People come to me all the time, like, "Oh, Aunt, you know, listen to this." Like, usually it's music. You know, like an artist is like, "Oh man, I really don't want to put this out there, but I would like your honest opinion." And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, "Wow, that's really badass." And then there's other times I'm like, "Man, I wish you wouldn't have told me that." So, you know, there's 50-50, I guess, with everything. So how far back? I know you're a comedian too, but first and foremost, you're an activist, and I was curious, you know, how far back activism is in your life.
It goes all the way back. Look, I can't say too far. Shit, I don't want to give away my age, but I'm going to say all the way back to my early 20s when I was kind of growing into the adult that I was going to be in life. And I grew up in going to Catholic school and Baptist church and all kind of, you know, it was just all these different things. And so I had to learn to define things for myself. And in doing that quest for knowledge led me into studying Afrocentricity. And through going through that and getting a better understanding of my people and where we come from, I felt an instant kinship, and it was like, okay, this is the direction that I need to go. Like, it helped me to determine which way I was going to go in life. Now, the comedy and everything like that blended with my personality allowed me to engage in different levels with it. Because there's so much more to everybody manages a duality in our community, and it's not fair to put anyone in a box based upon their appearance, race, religion, whatever.
Right.
So I find myself able to engage in all different levels, regardless of what people may think that we should or shouldn't have in common.
So, I mean, when we sit back and we talk about today in society and the way everybody is, like, you really, going back to what you said, with the kids, like, you really, I think adults are the same way, like, you got 30 seconds to get them, sucked in. And, I mean, what irritates you the most about having to be a comedian in today's age and trying to focus on everything at the same time?
I think what irritates the most is the censorship, or the attempted censorship. If there's any field in this world that should have carte blanche to say whatever they want to say and however, it should be in comedy. We're the ones that say the things that you want to say, and we'll find a way to put it with just a little sugar on top,
Yeah.
But it can be very, and working in media, there's certain topics that are completely taboo, and it's like, you better don't say this, because they'll get you, But then at the same time, you could do a detriment to your audience if you don't address it. Because the whole point of being in media and working in that field is because you're here to tell stories. I tell stories on stage, and you do yours in media.
Yeah. The funny thing is, though, is like it's sometimes something happens so comical in my life that I add it to the show. I add it to my podcast, or whatever. Now, I know there's some people who absolutely 100% can't or won't do that. And I feel like, if you're forcing something too hard, people around you will see that you're forcing it too hard. So, I mean, there's a fine line between being professional, being humble, and being humbly professional. And
I agree.
And so, when we come back, we're going to be hanging out with Sista Lu all night. I'm excited to talk to her some more. You guys feel free to weigh in, throw your questions in the comments, man. And we're going to be hanging out all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. And, so make sure you guys ask your questions, get those in. And tonight's brand new show is powered by my man David Sheets from Photo Nation AP. And we're going to get into this song from my man Reggie Foster, and this song is called Kill Me Inside. We'll be right back.
took to baptism like a needle in my foot. Where is our sacred land, free from desolation, hellfire inside? If you want peace, you prepare for war. Heads down, but horns up. We are here, we are your destroyer. Heads down, but horns. Yeah! We are the gods and goddesses of forgotten truth. Lay behind the sayers, feeble minds. We refuse your petty bullshit. Humble enough to know we're all equal. Intelligent enough to know we're not the same. We live for us, not for your dead fortune. Not your dead fortune or your the steps that you told me. I felt the fear that you wanted in me. Let the sin run in. I'll never be cleansed. Never be cleansed on the enemy. Tell selfish how you wanna be. Forcing everyone to hear your song and sing. I won't take it, not this once. It falls on a different time. Never be judged by the saints and sinners. God damn! Damn sinners, every single one. So selfish, how you wanna be. Forcing everyone to hear your song and sing. I won't take it, not this once. It falls on a different time. Come a little closer. I said, come a little closer. I'll run you down. I'll run you down.
Music Familia, we are back. We were hanging out this evening with my girl, Sista Lu. How's it going, ma'am?
Wonderful, wonderful. How you doing?
Good, good. So, allergies this time of year are pretty brutal for people, but I hear that yours are horrible.
Honey, listen, I have developed a nut allergy, gluten allergy. I'm allergic to the new sugars and the preservatives and shit. All of these wonderful snacks I can't fucking have. Like the potato chips that taste like biscuits and gravy or something. Like, I can't eat any of that.
Wow.
Nacho chips, no cheese. It would be one thing to say, like, I've never had a frozen Reese cup, but to have had them and now I can't have it at all, that's just not even fair. That's devilish temptation. You understand?
Wow. That's like, so, wow. So, how'd you find out you were allergic all of a sudden? Did you eat something and have a reaction, or?
I sure did, honey. Truth be told, I was engaged to this guy, right? And he ate a Snickers bar and he kissed me and my lips swelled up. I should have paid attention then, but I kept going. So then, like, maybe a week or two later, I eat a Reese's cup. Same thing happened again. I go to the doctor. Boom, there it is. And it wasn't meant for me to marry that dude, so who knew?
Wow.
Now I gotta carry an EpiPen closer than my damn credit card. You understand? At all times I have my EpiPen.
So my wife is allergic to peanuts, and so she found out the hard way as well. She ended up buying one of those the frozen ice cream taco sandwich. I can't think of the name of them now.
Choco Taco.
Yeah.
I remember those.
She went and got one, and it had nuts on it, and she all of a sudden one day went and ate it, and she found out the hard way that she's allergic. So, long story short, they kind of put a cap on that. And, so I haven't, fortunately for me, we live in Ohio, and birch and box elder trees aren't something that's prominent here in the city. So, as long as I don't go out, like, camping in some crazy off-beaten path, I should be good. But if I get stuck by some birch or box elder trees, it's a really bad day for the Antman. So you do some other projects as well, and I'm curious about this particular project that we're about to talk about right now. So fill us in, please, Sista Lu. Fill us in.
Well, like I was saying, like I told you, I spent a lot of time working the stage. Years upon years, you learn different things, especially improv, and also writing. And so that's what I do. I write jingles. I do birthday jingles. People hire me for their events. I usually have them give me 3 or 4, hints about a particular person, and then I write a song about them and sing it for them. But it's all jokes in every line. It's a lot of fun. I am enjoying it very much.
That's incredible to come up with a unique way to entrepreneur your own way to make money and still be doing what you love. Like, that's badass. Do you have one for us tonight?
Absolutely, I do. Because, I also do Zodiac, and this is the Cancer. This is the time of the season for Cancer, so I wrote a Cancer birthday song. Give me 1 second. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You funny acting Cancer. And they never in your bins. 'Cause they roll so low. But they ain't no motherfucking snitch. It's a Cancer birthday. Cancer birthday, baby. Cancer birthday. Happy birthday, Cancers.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
'Cause them Cancers, they kind of special. They roll dolo.
Man,
they ain't even gonna tell on you, but wait.
One of my best friends was a Cancer, and I always used to joke about him having to ride the short bus because they always needed somebody to clean the windows, and he never really got that until we got a lot older, and then he was like, "Wow, you're like a piece of shit if a piece of shit was a piece of shit," and I started. And just, when you got those friends, that you can just go there with,
Right. God bless them.
Yeah. So going back when you were growing up, coming up, things were probably a lot different for you, sights and sounds and a lot of things. What was it like for you growing up, did you grow up in Ohio, or?
I grew up in Ohio and spent a lot of time in South Carolina with where my family's from.
Wow.
So it was like half and half. And let me tell you, baby, the families that I grew up with the kind of family that was gonna tell you what you're not gonna do. They're
Yeah.
not gonna ask no questions. Do you want? This is what you're gonna do, and this is what you're not gonna do.
Yeah. Like.
But thankfully they allowed me some wiggle room, and found a way. Like now, crazy. Like my uncle, honey, I can remember riding with him. You remember back when they had the cars and they didn't have no seat belts and stuff? So
Yeah.
like he would sit me on the armrest, him and his buddies, and they get pulled over and they would stuff marijuana down in my clothes and shit. Straight up. I can say that now because he's passed away, and I'm sure I couldn't be held for any statute of limitations. But oh yeah, honey, it was like that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the days when the streetlights were our curfew, a lot of that shit, like, it just doesn't happen these days, I mean,
Mhm.
but, like, there's kids that don't know about playing outside. I don't even know what to say to those parents.
I made it a point, like we were saying, by reaching out to some of the youth, I made it a point to like always bring, when I was doing those events, extra balls and stuff like that, frisbees, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I wouldn't even ask them. I would just see them out there and I would just throw the frisbee at them. And naturally, they grab it, like, what the hell? And they throw it back. Like, oh, before you know it, their phone is in their pocket. So it is still upon us to, engage somehow, to still try to reach them. If you remember, it was confusing as hell being a teenager, especially when you thought you knew everything and you was always wrong. But you don't want to admit that you're wrong. So, we
Yeah.
got to give them a little leeway. Not go easy on them, but we got to meet them halfway at least.
Today's school and the way things are, man, like the kids, like, I'm scared for my daughter, man, legitly.
Mhm.
Like, I don't even know what to really, like, say about it, because my daughter's growing up and I'm just kind of sitting back looking at these boys like, no, pull your pants up, boy, no.
Right.
like, no, you better wash that hair, you better not come around here. Like,
I think God knew what he was doing, make sure I didn't have no kids, because I wouldn't be. My kids would be those ones on the block like, their mom is mean. Because we're not having that. Oh no, they're gonna have to be raised old school. So sorry, not
Yeah.
sorry. You know what I mean? Like, they can get a touch or whatever, but I think kids, they need to separate from technology sometimes.
So when we talk about, being a comedian in 2019, like, is it still as male dominated these days as it was back in the day? I mean, there are a lot of females out there, but are they really doing it like they need to be?
I think that women are definitely progressing, but given the fact that there are still all-female shows, or the need for all-female shows, is a testament to where we are exactly. You know what I
Right.
mean? We're very, very far, even with, on national TV and online characters and people who get popular from reality shows, and they do comedy and stuff like that. There's still a bit of a stigma, and there's still a bit of a separation. And I think that's good, because it will keep us thriving. It will keep us hungry.
Right.
It's not good to get too comfortable in anything that you're doing. So if at the very least I'm looked at to be the underdog, it's that much sweeter when I win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel that way about all women.
What's the hardest part for you, being a comedian? I can imagine that, that there's probably a multitude of things, but does the race thing ever come into the comedian life for you at all?
I think it's a part of it, because we all, in our comedy, we give a reflection of our life, from our perspective.
Right.
So color is just something that's there. And like even earlier when you referenced me growing up in a different era, I grew up in an era where you could acknowledge all of that, and that's not a problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
The problem comes when you say something derogatory or you're, trying to influence one way or another. But if you can say, hey, I knew that I grew up black when I had to make sure the screen door was closed or, some whatever. I think it's fine to acknowledge those things. And I happen to have grown up in a lot of mixed situations. So I never really was able to, like when I went to Catholic school, I was one of the few black girls in the class. But then when I got home, I was around all black people and Latinos. So, my babysitter was Puerto Rican. They only spoke Spanish in the house. Like, it was a lot. So I really didn't have a choice but to learn to adapt and to find my groove.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of crazy from one side of the spectrum all the way to the other. Like,
So some people, they focus on just black jokes or just white jokes, just corporate. I think it's important to be able to engage with all audiences, but still be who you are. Like, Dave Chappelle doesn't tell white jokes, and Dave Chappelle doesn't tell black jokes. He tells Dave Chappelle jokes. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta find your lane, and that's what I do.
I haven't seen Dave Chappelle in quite some time. I kind of miss that mofo.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was that kind of reality that I think we all needed at the time.
Yeah, just acknowledge it. It's okay.
Yeah, right, exactly. Don't let it's not gonna bite you. No, but so I would imagine that the men see you as a threat. I mean, initially, when they see you, if they don't know you, I could see how some men could think that potentially, you could be a threat to them, because you're so honest.
I don't think so.
Well, because you're so honest. You're so honest and straightforward, and some men can't handle that,
Well, now that's true. That can be true.
I can only imagine. Like, so what's the hardest time you've ever had, as a comedian, like on stage or on a bill? Like, what was your worst experience?
My worst experience?
You don't have to name the venue if you don't want to, but I mean, you know.
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with that. I'm trying to think one of my worst experiences. That wasn't so hot. There was an experience that I had where I literally lost all of my words. I was in high school, actually, and I was presenting something, and I had to do this whole speech or whatever, and, honey, I forgot the words. I said a couple of cuss words, and then, like, I tried to clean it up a little bit, and then I just cut it off, like, oh, dude, whatever I said. Oh, yeah, I was sweating bullets. I was so nervous.
Oh, man.
And what's worse is that I had notes. You ever had, like, how you see on TV and the letters jump off of the paper and they start floating around and shit? That is completely what happened to me. And I was just like, what the fuck? Said a couple cuss words and, just stepped off the stage, like, whatever.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. I was on the homecoming court. That's what it was. I was on the homecoming court. Oh, yes.
That's great.
But that's okay. I made up for it later.
So is there anybody that's crossed your path before you're a comedian that has seen you and was like, damn, girl, I didn't know you could do that?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Not yet.
Right on.
I've hosted and done, like, comedy in between shows. Like, I've hosted events with national acts and stuff like that. And that's where the comedy, kind of kicks in. I'm not always talking or always singing. I also, take time and engage with the crowd, keep them involved, give them a little bit of information or whatever. And so once I step off the stage, they were always telling me that, like, hey, I like how you put that together, because sometimes you have to be very delicate with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Still telling the truth, but on that microphone, the words have power. So you have to put things in a particular way, especially when you have a difficult message. Like, I remember having to tell people that a particular, like, artist was not going to come, and people had, like, paid money and was,
oh,
there.
That's the worst.
Had been waiting for hours. Oh, honey.
Yeah, they get so, they don't get angry. They get angry. Like, angry.
Baby.
Yeah.
I am not going to name names, but that particular organization was fraudulent with a lot of financial things, and that was the last straw for me.
Wow.
And when I left that event, there was a lady who followed me to her car. She was carrying like a cooler and her fold-up chair. And I didn't know she was behind me. And I was walking to the car, and when I finally turned around and looked at her, she said, I just want to tell you to your face that I paid for a babysitter, I paid for VIP, I paid for a ticket. I was like, oh, shit. Like, oh, ma'am, I didn't even get paid tonight. You know what I mean? Like, all I could really was tell her, like, I'm sorry. There's nothing else I could do. But let me get your information. If I find out anything, you know what I'm saying, I will completely put you in or whatever I could do. But it happens, and you have to be able to engage even in difficult situations.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to, you know, have a cool head, sometimes a cooler head than the people you're dealing with. And that's no easy task. Like, I'm Italian and Irish. It's really hard for me to stay calm in certain situations. Yeah, man. So
yeah, you gotta fight fire with water, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got some more from my girl Sista Lu this evening. I even got some footage from her at the Funny Bone. We're gonna be throwing that out there. But in the meantime, guys, check her out. Facebook.com/lu.TOWNSEL. You guys can find her on Facebook. And definitely make sure you add her and check out some great stuff from my girl Sista Lu. Hilarious. I'm actually totally excited to have you. I'm totally excited to have you on the show tonight. And we're going to get into some new music here from Pray for Sleep. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to Sista Lu about her take on what's going on in the world today. And see if we can get a comedian advice and commentary, if you will, on some of the tweeting that's going on these days. Alright, so when we come back, we're gonna be here with Sista Lu and check this song out. This is Fear from Pray for Sleep. We'll be right back.
Drifting away from everything that's wrong. My mind only knows how to take and how to stay. There's no one to steer me clear. There's no escaping it. There's no escaping fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being known. 'Cause I'm always alone. Always alone.
Close my eyes and lay my head down. All these thoughts are gonna make me hit the ground. I don't wanna be alone, lost on my own. What if I never know? And this is all set in stone. Please let me out, set me free from these fears. I don't wanna be alone in this hour on my own. Yeah!
I'm going down this road, never coming home. I can't accept this loss. I can't stay in this hole. I can't stay in fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being known. 'Cause I'm always alone. I'll never be alone.
Close my eyes and lay my guess that's where I got my cold-blooded fame. You can catch me now, shouting out, yeah, I'm on fire. There's no stopping me, chugging cold whiskey. Yeah, I'm on fire. Strapping on my boots, got the ladies loose. There's no one for you to take me down. Yeah, I'm on fire. There's no stopping me, chugging cold whiskey. Yeah, I'm on fire. Strapping on my boots, got the ladies loose. There's no one for you to take me down.
What's going on, Music Familia? We are hanging out live with my girl Sista Lu. She's on the phone. So we were just talking about World Ass Whooping Day. Well,
Yes.
now I think this is something that I can get behind.
I think so too, honey. We were just discussing like, okay, well, what's it going to take to kind of get things back to where it came from? And don't nothing shake shit up like a good old ass whooping.
Right, like I expect our grandparents and our parents and everybody to rise up out of their wheelchairs or walkers for one final ass whooping before they go.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I just want to see. I want to see my grandfather slap an iPad out of a kid's hand. That's all I want to see. Like, yeah, and I mean, with this day and age, Sister Lou, isn't it funny like that we're getting older and all these things are happening because we're gonna be able to be such assholes to these millennials coming up.
Oh yes, I cannot wait, honey. I'm already getting my shit in right now. Cause the younger ones, I'm all auntie. I'm Auntie Lou. I'm like, okay, yep, I got some shit for you to be doing, and I can't wait till you start driving, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
all day.
Oh man.
It's
So
gonna be one of the best parts of being the old school, and I still kind of look like a younger one, so I'm happy about that.
So what is your take on? I know because your activism and your comedy, but you keep them both separate pretty good. But I gotta ask, like, what is your take on the president using Twitter these days? I mean, this is crazy. Like, our decisions are being made on Twitter.
It really is, and it's deplorable. I mean, that's one thing that we have to make sure it gets returned back to balance. This damn administration and the whole organization of the leadership of our country. This is just ridiculous. I mean, just the fact that he is in office. I'm not gonna say his name because I think he gets paid every time somebody say his name or his last. He get 3 pennies every time somebody say his damn name. But we need to find that balance or yank his ass up out of there. But the backup is probably worse than the previous, so I don't know. That's the hard part. I just love when he put his foot in his mouth, because I get a chance to see other Republicans, because I have friends who are Republicans. I get a chance to see them eat their own fucking words, and that I love. And they don't like the taste of it, so like when we were talking earlier, my mom used to say, put some heat under that shit and see how it boils.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, honey, they eating their own shit right now, so I don't really have to tell them anything.
Yeah.
And they'll self-destruct.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's going to hurt some people before it does, though.
Yeah. I sit back and I watch how, body shaming, like, I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff going on, and I kind of, I have some friends that are in the South, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, you don't understand, because you're up there in the Midwest, you don't really know, and And I'm like, oh man, I know more than you realize, like, you know, and I mean, I try to be as supportive as I can, you know, in certain causes and in certain situations, but I find a lot of my friends are like, oh, well, you know, the Confederate stuff needs to go, but then there's a couple people that are from my generation or, you know, 80s kids who are like, oh, well, you know, it's a part of history. And so I don't know, man. I believe that history, if you don't pay attention, is destined to repeat itself. And I don't know. I think comedy is something that needs to happen. It needs to be at the forefront of everything, because I feel like if a comedian could slap a good joke on somebody at the presidency or something like that, all those old dudes might crack up and laugh, and we might get some shit done.
Exactly. That's the one thing that, you know, using humor is the one thing we can do to break down a lot of barriers.
Yeah.
A lot of barriers. And it is such a testament to the old school and the new school. And I don't necessarily think there's one way that it needs to be old or new, but maybe a blend of both. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That way, you know, we can keep some of the traditional values and take heed to the lessons learned, but then also be able to apply them to new strategies that could work, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think everybody sits down at the same table. We're all eating the same bread. There's really no difference between anything. I think a lot of people get in the way of their own shit. Like, I feel like the bullshit bus travels through town, and people just happen to step out in front of it while it's driving by.
Yes.
And I mean,
yes, gone are the days when you mind your own business.
Right, yeah. So, what advice do you have for the females out there that are sitting back like, oh, I'm kind of funny. I think I wanna tell some jokes to some mofo's. What do you say to them?
I would say definitely write some things down, brainstorm about some things that are personally funny to you or that you found the humor element in a situation. Write it down or whatever and go to an open mic. You know, you'll find one online everywhere. Any night of the week, there's always an open mic. Find it, get up there, and just do your thing. When you look at those people, just look at their foreheads. Don't look them in the eye, because then you get distracted. Just look at everybody's forehead and say that shit just like you talking on the phone.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
One of my friends listening to the show, he says, you know, he goes, the hardest thing for me is when I go in to try to do stand-up that everybody says picture him naked, and then you're in there staring at the one ugly person in the room thinking, damn, I wonder what's underneath that. Oh, wait, never mind. He goes, oh, wait, never mind. I need another drink.
No, honey. See, I'm also a Toastmaster. I am an avid Toastmaster. You understand? So I've done hundreds of speeches, and I get paid to do speeches too. So like, I just look at their foreheads. I look at the perimeter of the room. If it's a clock like in the back wall, oh, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
You know? You pull it in every so often, but you can definitely get sidetracked when you, like you said, look at one person. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
What if they stick their finger in their nose or something? Like, you know?
Like, so the first time myself ever emceeing a show, one of the artists was like, I'd love for you to introduce me. And I was like, yeah, I've never done this before. All right, here we go. Like, they walked up, they put a microphone in my chest, and I walked out on stage in front of like 500 people. And
oh, wow.
And I looked around, and everybody's just sipping their beer looking at me. And I'm just like, all right, so I am this little white dude standing on this big stage, and this is the band right here. And I ran off stage so fast, Sista Lu. Like, I got to the edge.
Aww.
I got to the edge of the stage. Like, you know, you get that like numb, tingly feeling in your face when you're gonna like pass out. Like, yeah. That was my first experience. Like, so.
Bless your heart.
You know, I'm not proud of it, but you know what? I did learn a valuable lesson. Like, don't look at the drunk people directly in the front row. Like,
don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I had a similar thing like that. I played volleyball too, and so my volleyball team, we were having a celebration at the bar, and they invited me to this bar. I had never been there. Now, I was on my way to a date after the party, so I was dressed up. Like, I got my stilettos, my afro out, my dress. Woo, yeah, so walking there, it's a honky-tonk bar. And I said,
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. I mean, I walked in, and I was like, okay. Yeah, I walked in and, see a couple of people at the bar and there's some people sitting around and standing around, and it's karaoke night. So little do I know, they signed me up for a damn song. Oh, shit. So me and my black ass went up there with my afro and the honky-tonk, and I sung one of the only country songs I knew, and it happened to be, like you talking about not looking at all the drunk people, whole row sitting there, drunk people looking at me like, the fuck she gonna sing? As soon as I started singing, they fell out. They fell out like it was damn Mary J. Blige singing it,
Wow.
Like how we like, oh yes, that's my song. They was like, yee. Guy came up with no front teeth, gave me a high five and shit. I was like, hey. So there's always a way. After that, they was buying me beers. I don't even drink beer. I just was like, thank you. I don't know, but
pouring it in the plant behind you.
Yes, but here's the kicker. When I got ready to leave, I'm slapping hands. Yes, yes. And so then, my friend walks me to the door, and she's white. My whole team was white. She said, girl, they love you here. You can come back anytime. And just so you know, the bartender's half black, so it'll be okay.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Like, okay, I'll be back. Oh, my God.
Wow, yeah.
Yes.
I love people from Detroit because I'm from Michigan, so I love people in Detroit because they I was told that I'm Wonder Bread without the crust.
See?
And I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know if I'd rather be called a cracker or Wonder Bread without crust. I don't know which one equates to better, but whatever one's better, I'll take, I guess.
Right.
So, oh man, crazy. So we got some footage of you at the Funny Bone here in town, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
And
I enjoyed performing at the Funny Bone.
So, what is it like for somebody who has never done stand-up to walk into the Funny Bone? Like, what was your first experience like walking into the Funny Bone as a performer?
To perform or
yeah,
as a visitor,
yeah,
like as a guest?
As a performer.
My first time was well, you see, I can't even say that it was that intimidating because I had been working there taking improv classes.
Wow.
So in the class, we were always there. We got up on stage. We did different things, So I can't say I was intimidated the first time getting on stage up there, but I will say that given the fact that you don't know the dynamics of your audience, you really just have to bring the funny. And so that, like you're talking about, that numbness comes, your throat gets a little tight, but it's exciting, and like you just turn it into energy and like, what the fuck is going on, y'all? And they just say hey or nay, and if they say no, say fuck y'all, I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you cannot go up to the stage worried about that. It's gonna be one way or the other, and either way, I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby.
Well, we got some footage right here from Sista Lu, and we're going to be throwing this at you guys. And we're going to go right into a song after the footage from Sista Lu. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on and what her plans are for 2019 and what she's getting into in and around town. We'll be right back after this.
But she got fans in the audience.
What's up, everybody? Yay! Like you said, this is my first motherfucking time. I got 5 favorite words: shit, dick, pussy, fuck, and ass. You know what I'm saying? I had a good time tonight. What I'm saying, I am like Nancy Reagan, but I have my moments. You know what I'm saying? I used to be so fucking nice. The telemarketer would call me, and I say, oh, I'm on the do not call list. I don't want to change my interest rate. And then I'm waiting, and he's like, hello? He said, bitch, shut the fuck up. Oh, what you talking to? Oh, no, you can't try to forget the manager. What the fuck? I try to call him back. They call him a block number. I can't even call him back. So I'm just stuck, pissed off. So I said, fuck it. The next 2 weeks, everybody got blasted. Every time the motherfucking phone ring, who the fuck is it? I just want to confirm Lulu's dentist appointment. Oh, well, shit. I'll tell her when I see her. much fucking fun, but you just keep getting caught. You know what I'm saying? Just keep getting caught. Like I was down at what's the fuck, the Christopher Columbus, the fucking Santa Maria. I'm fucking this dude on the Santa Maria, right? We having a good time. We gave him some pirate pussy and shit. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucking cop. So it's one cop. Dude take off that way, I run this way. The motherfucking cop follows me. I'm out here badass naked from the waist down. You couldn't chase that motherfucker. I run all the way to Spring Street, jump over a wall, scratch up my shit, but I still have my car keys. By the time I get to my car, this nigga standing over there, he doubled over laughing. I knew you could run that fucking fast. You motherfucker. I'm 230 pounds solid. This shit can move. You okay? As a matter of fact, next year I think I'm gonna do some bodybuilding. I'm feeling real good about that. I think next year they're gonna have a category just for me called Almost There. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple poses. I'm about to show you my poses.
Oh, Lord!
I'm telling you, I'm gonna win a trophy. I'm getting a trophy, y'all. And I got a talent too. I can put my waist trainer on in 3 seconds. I'm dumping it, y'all. I'm gonna take that shit. Arnold's gonna be like, who the fuck is Lulu? I'm like, bitch, you ain't know. I'm telling you, y'all, the best part about being a bad girl, besides getting caught, is just you don't ever give a fuck. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna do what the fuck I wanna do anyway. The best part about it is you still, if you get to be the black Nancy Reagan, they still don't even catch you. My best friend always say that shit. She like, if the house burning down, me and you standing there, they automatically gonna take me. Cause I look like a good girl, right? No. I'll tear some shit up, y'all. I'll like, spaz the fuck out.
She's so stupid.
Any courteous drivers in the house, you know? Somebody trying to get in, you let them in and shit. You know, it's okay, round of applause. It's nice to be courteous. Fuck y'all to hell. Behind you, we didn't agree on that shit. They got to wait. You understand? We got to get there. Okay. Now both of y'all pull the fuck over.
She's so stupid.
Excuse me. I'm so fucking excited I lost all the spit in my mouth. I wish I was dick sucking. It wouldn't happen. Real talk, like Nancy Reagan. I'm just trying to tell you. But thank you so much for my time, y'all. I really appreciate you. Please meet me at the bar because I'm cold fucking sober right now and I don't like it. I had to do it. I just need like about 3 shots in like 2 minutes and this shit about to rock. You know what I'm saying? Well, meet me at the bar. I'm going right now. That's what I'm saying. I'm not waiting to the end of the show. Thank you so much, y'all.
I'm losing it, oh, my head is burning, this is the end. I see the light behind your eyes. Erasing all the memories going down the last song. Erasing all the memories going down the last song. Erasing all the memories going down the last song. Erasing all the memories. I was never good enough for anybody close to me. Seasons come and go, and I'm still here. I
Music Familia, we are back. We are hanging out live with my girl, Sista Lu. What's going on?
Hey there. I am doing wonderful. I was thinking about the letter R just now because I'm in a relationship with my recliner and my Roku, and I love when Republicans put their foot in their fucking mouth.
Oh, man. That's hilarious.
Brought to you by the letter R.
Yeah, right? Oh, man, that's crazy. So, you know, it's 2019, Sista Lu, and what are you looking at doing this year?
Well, this year, I am currently a college student, an adult college student with bills, the type of adult student with bills. I am graduating in 2 weeks. I'm super excited and looking forward to branching off. I've been an accountant since forever, and I'm branching off into communications. I'm doing and pursuing entertainment full-time after this, so I'm super excited about that. But I'm planning strategically. I have projects every month for the rest of this year and a few scheduled for next year. But I'm expanding on the jingles and doing more of the entertainment as well as my own comedy specials. So
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty excited.
Are you heading out of Ohio for any of those, or is a majority of it going to be around home?
Oh, absolutely. I'm heading out of Ohio as well as international. I'm not going to give away too many details, but you can best believe I'm going to be in all the places to be with the information to get back to me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I did that. Ooh, uh-oh.
Well, if you need a cameraman, if you need somebody to film or anything, just holler at your boy.
Yes, I definitely will.
Yeah, no, but I think it's great what you're doing, and I think that you're just the type of person that the comedy world needs, because honestly, when I flip on Comedy Central these days, I just don't see what I used to, and Saturday Night Live, for those of us who remember the real Saturday Night Live back in the day, before this shit today. Like, I miss that old raunchy comedy, that hardcore realness in your face, Today is too, like, ooh, I'm offended by that. Like, you can't say that. You can't say that. Like, I'm like, no, I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. Even when, like, I was telling you how I grew up with my family, and I posted today on my Facebook page, which is Sista Lu, just so you'll know, SISTALU on Facebook. I saw a post today, and it was like, hey, you start talking about somebody, and then somebody jump in like, hey, that's my cousin, and you're like, oh, okay, so your cousin ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody got time to worry about your damn feelings. That same uncle I told you about that had the drugs down in my Pampers and shit, he's the same way. That was his famous line. I don't care if you're mad. You got some goddamn tears. I don't care. When you get done, fix me a sandwich.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Man. Yeah, I sit back.
I didn't have time to get in my feelings growing up. I did not have time.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Growing up, man, there's a time and place for everything, and my dad was a Vietnam vet, so it was like whenever I messed up, it was like walk it off, like let it clean itself out, like just let it bleed, it'll clean itself out, you'll be fine. Like, oh no, no. my
I need some antibiotic cream or something.
Right, yeah, I need a Band-Aid. What's a Band-Aid? Like, oh, all right, I see how it is. Yeah.
It'd be tough.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
poor thing.
What do you think about today's comedy? Your stand-up and your comedy is definitely drastically different than what you'd see these days. What are some of the common differences between your comedy and theirs?
What I think some of the differences has a lot more to do with just simply the content. There are different things as far as we talking about with female comedians, some of them stay real general, some of them push the boundaries, so I think that I fit right in the middle, and I kind of like that. I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of current trends, but then also not necessarily losing my base, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, I look at my comedy as just an extension of who I am. So when I'm engaging with these people, there are specific things I want them to fucking know. And and I know that there are parts of it that tickled me and it's going to reach out to them too. What's really funny is the things that I think would be super funny that I write down, everything happens in between the lines when I'm on stage. Like I'll say, I'm gonna do this joke, that joke, but the in between, that sweet spot that you can only get when you're in the moment, that's where all of it stands. That's where all of it comes from.
So do you find it hard to turn the comedian switch off or the smart ass switch off? Like when you're in relationships or when you're in serious moments, is it really hard for you not to make a joke in the moment?
Yes, I can do it though, but I'm still gonna do it. I just will have to time it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
90% of comedy is timing. So in my mind, it'll be circling, and I'll just be looking for the perfect spot to drop that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's always, well, I can't say always, but the majority of the time, it's well placed. It's well placed because it's not always what you say or how you say it. So, yeah. I've made people laugh at funerals, and so if I can do that, honey, please.
Wow.
You grieving your dearly departed, and you laughing so hard you had to take your hat off. You understand what I'm saying?
So
it's truly a blessing to be able to do.
So when men see you out, and like approach you, like to date you, I mean, there's got to be like a certain level of like, you got to be a certain kind of man to put up with this kind of woman, like type of deal, right? I mean,
first of all, ain't nobody putting up with me now. First of all, but you're right. It definitely has to be a balance.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily say that it would be all of one side or the other, but the ability to be fluid, the dualities that we manage. Remember I talked about that earlier?
Yeah.
We all have that duality. Like there are times with any given cause, any given whatever, there are times when I give a fuck and times when I just don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm not kumbaya, but I'm not like fuck the world either. Everything has its adjustments. You have to find your ebb and your flow in a relationship. That's
right.
Shit, that's romantic and everything, obviously. But I am single. Let me say that though. I am single. So for someone to have to put up with anything, no, not at all. It's not. The experience is too sweet to simply put up with anything, and life is not to be wasted.
Noted. Pleasantly noted. And
I talk that shit now. I told you, it's in my blood.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I think it's great what you're doing, and not only are you paving your own road, but you're paving a road for females behind you, and showing that the ability to be able to get out there, be somebody, do something different. You don't always have to do the normal, same everyday thing. You can take chances. And I think you're an excellent example of that for females.
Thank you so very much. Honey, the journey has been amazing. But I will say this, like, when you were talking about paving the way, I hope I'm paving some kind of a way, but I do know that learning how to adjust and move through life through different things, as well as engaging and pushing forward, honey, that is definitely a skill that we all need to see each other doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if that's paving the way, then absolutely. I'd like to be anything a part of growth and moving forward and not making seem like it's painless, but you got to pay something to have anything in life.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think, a lot of people who sit back and say, oh, well, that didn't cost me nothing, you weren't paying attention.
Right.
Like, I think it goes back to that whole I don't know, not just looking up for 5 minutes, looking around. Like so many things happen right in front of your face, and not always do you acknowledge them on time. But I mean, I think the very fact that we're able to acknowledge anything this day and age in 2019 is impressive.
You're right. Growing up and even now, I hang with a lot of people that are older than me that have more experience in different things than I do, and they still talk in simple logic that applies universally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All those little old things that, the old school used to say, you fail to plan, you plan to fail type shit. All of that could solve so many of today's problems. It's really not that complex.
No, it's not. I think
it's really not.
No. What's funny is that everybody sits back and makes it look like it's so hard to be a human being, and like I'm so over this right now. I'm gonna go on my Facebook account and I'm gonna tell everybody that I pooped today. Everybody has to know that I pooped today. Everybody.
Right.
If I didn't get 50 likes because I pooped today, then I'm gonna unfriend 150 people. Like,
but see, that comes from all the political correctness and all of this extra stuff. When somebody says something bad about you, you say something bad back.
Right.
Like, I don't like your ears. Your toes look stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is. And then if it gets serious, you say something about their mama. You understand what I'm saying? All of that shit went out the way. Because I'm not going to say we were perfect or anything like that, but at least we knew that we were balanced and we could hold our own.
Man.
We used to run from like the neighbors when we made too much fucking noise outside. The neighbors would open the fucking gate and let their dogs out to chase the kids away.
Yeah.
Like that was a sport.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody would have called the police now, but you bet your ass we ran the fuck home. We climbed fences or whatever we had to do to get away from them dogs. And that's just what it is. Like, okay, well I guess we was being extra. We gonna go around the corner this time type shit.
Man.
You can't do nothing. You can't say nothing to nobody now.
Yeah, I doing this job, I see a lot of shit, and I don't. This goes back to like when we were talking originally when we opened up the conversation way back when we started the interview. Like, just because people come to you and say shit, don't mean you need to go out and tell everybody and post on Facebook and do whatever else. So I was in a situation. I was kind of in a shitty situation where somebody vented to me in confidence that they were unhappy in their relationship, and my best friend, like, I was honest with my best friend and was like, hey, look, like, this is what happened, and I sit back and think about it, and I'm like, man, my best friend could be mad at me for being honest. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like I put it all out there. Like, so I mean, like, if you're mad at me for, like, telling somebody something that you didn't have guts to tell them but feel, like, I don't know what, I'm sorry, but not sorry. Like.
That's right. You gotta put that shit on the table for whatever it is, because as soon as you try to swallow that, that's gonna make it worse for you as you wasn't being real.
Right, yeah.
And they need to know what it is for real. If you really, people's like that, or if it's going to, change everything, it still is real. That shit would be eventual.
Yeah. So I don't know if you pay attention to some of the news and stuff. Did you see the new Face app that they created?
Yes.
Okay, so they released a statement today. The United States government, released a statement today, referencing the facial recognition app, who is actually the company's based out of Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have taken over 1.5 million photos since the app has been launched.
Yes.
And I have not purchased this app or downloaded this app or anything. Like, I don't... Anything that can take my face and add 80 years and tell me I'm going to look old as fuck, I don't want in my phone. Like I'm sorry, but I don't want to download this app to know what I'm gonna look like when I'm 70 freaking years old. Because when I'm 70, I'm not gonna care what I look like when I'm 70 years old. Like I don't get like, oh, look at this. Like I'm 70. Oh, look, my baby's 70. Oh, look at this. Like I don't know. What do you think about that? Social media and trying to be a comedian and be original with social media.
I think that that's one of the benefits of social media, to allow you to be original, because you can do like live recordings and be able to, put your comedy out there however you want to do on that platform. But then at the same time, you're able to engage with people when they're posting, and you can respond, and that's kind of live as well. So in a way, that kind of works towards it. The only time when it kind of works against it is when people just get real drastic with it, just trying to get likes or just trying to get laughs, versus just, working through their routines. Because there are people that have gotten hurt and trying to do stupid pranks and things like that, and I think that's just obnoxious and not a part of online comedy in the media. But when you were talking about the Face app thing, it was more like, I don't know, more like a game, like just something fun to do or whatever. However, I share to believe that Russia waited to do just this app in order to get access to people's pictures. Like, they already had, influence on so many different things online, and anything you post online becomes intellectual property, and nobody actually owns it. So they didn't need this app just to get access to it. I can promise you that. I think that's first off. But secondly, I did an app. I didn't do the whatever that particular app was, but I already had one on my phone, and it like does all these different things. So I just pulled mine up and left it at that. But I highly doubt that the only time Russia was able to access these pictures or whatever files they got was through a Face app for the old people filter.
Yeah, I saw everybody doing it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
It seemed like when you're going to, especially online, on Facebook or whatever, because I studied a lot about that, the whole parameters of intellectual property. Anything that you put on there, it's even in the Facebook guidelines, or their privacy and blah, 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 any place.
Yeah.
Any of that. It's even one on your cell phone carrier. So, we have the luxury and the detriment of dealing with that access.
I think it's funny, a lot of people are real funny on social media and stuff like that, but when you catch them, like, I don't know, man, the keyboard warriors crack me up, because they'll get drunk at midnight, 11 o'clock, midnight, like early on in the evening, get drunk, and then they'll get upset and they'll be like, I'm so mad, oh, this and this sucks so bad, and they'll go and they'll post on Facebook about it, and then they'll wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning when they gotta get up and go back to real life, and they're like, shit. Yeah.
It's so crazy to have. That's one of the pitfalls for all of this technology, is people are so within themselves. If you was in front of somebody, you wouldn't say half that shit that you typing up on the phone, because they will punch you in the mouth, or you might have to punch them in the mouth. One of those other differences between the old school and the new school. It's unfortunate, but some people can live behind that. They feel a bit empowered. But if you send that motherfucker a picture of their house, that might shut them the fuck up.
That's hilarious.
Like, what did you say? 637 Oak Street? Right?
Yeah, right.
You said I was a what?
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. So we're hanging out tonight with my girl Sista Lu. If you haven't had a chance to check her out on Facebook, you guys can do so. And I believe that's Lu360, right?
Lulu360.
All right, Lulu360 on Facebook. Make sure you guys check her out. And we're going to be right back with her. We got about a half an hour left of the show. I want to give a shout out to Shamrock Printing, Paul's Nightclub, Rockstar's Glue 3.0, Lynette's Country Barbecue, Ohio Local Music on Facebook. If you're looking for a great place to network and get to know some awesome people from all over the place, check out Ohio Local Music on Facebook. And we'll be right back after this with some more Sista Lu. And we got a brand new Douche Bag Criminals coming up tonight. That's where we take one stupid criminal and run him under the bus and have a good laugh. And so we're going to introduce Sista Lu with Douche Bag Criminals tonight. And this should be fun. Should be real fun. So we got Idle Hands, and we'll be right back after this with Curio and Idle Hands. Let's go.
It's not the truth if all along you've had to pretend. That's no way to live your life if you can help it. And it's not a secret if all your life you've never held it in. The way that you'd advise your best friend. It's not a gift, it's a curse. It's not bad, it's getting worse. I've never asked you to understand, but rains away these idle hands. I may slow, maybe I'm fast enough for my feet. I may be alone, maybe I'm happy with what I wanna be. I may be stoned, maybe I'm high with the life I lead. Maybe unknown, maybe there's no one left that I need to meet. It's not a gift, it's a curse, and it's not bad, it's getting worse. I've never asked you to understand, but rains away these idle hands. Well, someone I know, someone I've cared about. Well, someone way back home, someone where the wind will howl. Someday on a court in a plan, we find out how it all began. I've never asked you to understand, but rains away these idle hands. It's not a gift, it's a curse. It's not bad, it's getting worse. I've never asked you to understand. Rains away these idle hands. I've never asked you to understand, but rains away these idle hands. Broken on the ground, I felt too hard for you. Can somebody help me up? Oh God, this can't be true. This is how things came to be. Even through the fire, guide me. You're supposed to guide me. The disappointment I'll never become you. Your love is a disease. A devil to the wolves. I'll be here to conquer the pack, here to take my place. How dare you? Spit in my face. Yeah, with me over the edge of my black eye. Even through the fire of me and you, that cold damn heart always seemed to show right, right on through. Who are you to take me down this way? You're supposed to guide me. You're supposed to guide me. This is my breaking. Even through the fire of me and you, that cold damn heart always seemed to show right, right on through. Who are you to take me down this way? You're supposed to guide me. You're supposed to guide me.
What's going on, music man? We are back with Sista Lu. What's going on, girl? How are you?
Hey, I am doing wonderful. I want to send an extra birthday shout out to the cancers in the house. Even though y'all wrote dolo, but you ain't no snitches. Happy birthday, cancers.
Oh, man. So, we were talking earlier about being a female in the industry, and I feel like there was some more we could touch on there. And I kind of wanted to pick your brain about some of the things that are on your mind when you talk about, that whole situation.
Well, I would definitely say it's kind of served to my benefit. Being a female in the industry, dealing with, a lot of males, is that I grew up with, my dad and brothers and cousins, and all of my interactions with males weren't necessarily romantic, and they weren't necessarily traditional roles. So, it's important that men and women engage with one another. I think I can't go to another woman and ask her about a man. I have to engage with a man to ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, I think that, just keeping it all the way real. We're naturally different, and there are common grounds, but we're supposed to have different perspectives so that we can acknowledge something outside of ourselves. So in the industry, it has always served to my benefit being open to that. I don't think, hey, I'm a woman asking for this, or he's a man and I'm asking him. I'm thinking this is a comedian, this is a business relationship, flat out.
Yeah. Wow. That's I never really thought about it like that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You think
There's
that
so much we can gain from just being honest and just acknowledging what it is, the differences that there are. Because from there, we can find a common ground.
Right. What do you think the biggest misconception about the comedic world and being a comedian, what's the biggest misconception you think for people out there?
That it's not like hard work. It really is. Even though you're naturally gifted to engage with people in conversation, there's so many other elements that go into your presentation. So it's just not as simple as, I write a couple of jokes or I go off the top of my head at all times. It's an actual job, and that's what you get paid for. You don't get paid for 5 minutes of comedy. You get paid for the experiences that you condense into 5 minutes worth of enjoyment for the audience.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I gotta ask you, did you see everybody getting ready to storm Area 51?
That is the craziest bullshit since... honey, they need to stop that shit. Now, see how you felt about the Face app? That's how I feel about Area 51. They need to stop that shit. Go sit down and smoke a blunt and drink some wine or whatever the fuck else. Get some head, whatever they need to be doing besides being worried about what's in that damn desert. Because you know what happens? When you go looking for shit, you going to fuck around and find it. Now, what they going to do is some shit pop up and yank their fucking head off. The first person in the front. What they going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
can see that shit now. Snatch that motherfucker's head clean off. Now what?
So some people were making jokes about this. So this is actually a legit Facebook event. September 20th. This is actually legit. They're gonna storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us. This is funny to me. February 20th. From
You said February 20th?
Yep. I'm sorry.
Shit.
September.
I'm gonna do a live remote right outside the gate.
Oh shit. I was wrong. It's September 20th. It's a Friday.
September 20th.
3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They plan on carrying this out. The thing for me, though, is the details of this event are very specific. We all meet up at Area 51 Alien Center tourist attraction and coordinate our entry. If we Naruto run, we can run faster than their bullets. Let's see them aliens.
Oh my god.
So this is a legit.
Like I said,
yeah.
they're going looking for some shit. They're gonna fuck around and find it. Now they might find a couple bullets on the way because they're gonna react and respond with force because they have to protect that area. But oh my, I just might go down there just like sit down and eat me some popcorn and watch the show. Shit.
So
maybe I'll send my drone up there and record something.
I was doing some numbers. Sista Lu, you're not gonna believe this. I was doing some numbers. I was checking it out. So it looks like just over 13 million are interested in this event. 17 million are going, and over 30 million are invited to this event.
That's ridiculous.
So this is actually going to be one of the most active events Facebook's ever had on their page, according to Forbes magazine.
September 20th.
And so there's
you
a
wanna
bunch.
Go? Come on, let's go. Let's go on out there and eat some popcorn and now later and watch them tear their heads off.
So, there's all kinds of memes going around all over the place. And, references to the guards that are there at Area 51. There's all kinds of... I could go on for days with all these memes. Over 71,120 memes in this group. Or in this event. And it's growing by day, by day. And I'm just sitting back like, all you crazy fuckers are gonna go out to Area 51, and all these dudes that are back there in Area 51 are gonna be like, hey, look, we see rabbits moving in the field, and they're gonna just push a button, and everybody's gonna disappear.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, we going out there, we're gonna sit outside the gate, and we're gonna watch the ass.
I want to sit on the mountain that they all observe all the alien activity from. I think that's the safest distance that I can be away from Area 51. Like, I just want to sit on the mountain and look down at all the stupid people running. Like,
Yeah, I love it. I love it because it's going to be comedy, pure comedy.
yeah.
Can you imagine? Oh my God. September 20th. There we go.
Yep. I will. I'm gonna invite you, Sista Lu. I'm gonna invite you to the event.
Sure. Shit, let's go. I'm gonna get some popcorn. Like I said, some popcorn and some now later.
Yep. Yep. So
Going down.
it's pretty crazy. But so it's 9:45. We're hanging out live with Sista Lu. We've been hanging out all night with her. We're gonna go to a couple questions for some of my people out there listening to the show. Sista Lu, one of the questions from one of my fans, Stephanie asks, what advice do you have for somebody who's really shy with really high anxiety?
Or somebody who's shy and has really high anxiety,
Yeah.
I would suggest, first of all, practicing in front of the mirror.
Okay.
Once they write down what they want to say, we'll say maybe they have set a goal of a 2-minute speech about themselves. Practice it in front of the mirror and say it enough to where you could possibly use it in front of other people, and then from there expound to a local library. You can talk in front of some kids, or you can find some other local resources in order to do a speech.
Gotcha.
You can also attend a Toastmasters meeting, and they'll kind of get you on route as well.
Man, I definitely encourage Toastmasters. I worked with them for a small time when I was at a broadcasting school, and you know, what a great opportunity! Like, I mean, the closest thing I can compare that experience of Toastmasters to was when I was like 8 years old, and my uncle threw me out in the water and said, "You need to learn how to swim. Here you go," and threw me off the boat.
There you go.
You know, threw me off the boat and said, "All right, I'll see you on the shore." And you know, but I encourage it because, man, you sometimes need that push. You know.
Yes. Toastmasters has been amazing for me in developing myself. So, this person, they said they have some skill, some high anxiety,
Yeah.
and some hesitation about it.
Yep.
As soon as they attend a meeting, they will automatically know that that's the place for them to grow. It's full of support, and it's challenging at the same time.
Yeah, I remember. I seem to remember. You know, they never really do the same thing twice. You know, it's really a unique opportunity, and you know, there's a lot of free ones in the area. I know that there's paid services you can go to, but I know there's a lot of free services. I think I thought it was every second Saturday or third Saturday. I can't remember.
Well, when you go to their main website, you can find all the different clubs, and they're sorted by zip code because there's a chance to go to a meeting anytime, any day.
Oh yeah, you know what? You guys can, Toastmasters.org takes you directly to Toastmasters International. And there you can get into Leadership Central, resources, magazines, events. They even have education and pathways for you to be able to find a club near you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Toastmasters.org. Make sure you guys check it out. I'll drop it in the link for you guys there. Next question from my man Marcus. He is in Alabama. He wants to know, what is the one thing that absolutely pisses you off about being a female comedian and having to be out there in front of all these douchebag males today?
That was the whole question?
Yeah, that was the whole question.
I would say the one thing that I absolutely hate is to be overly sexualized. I happen to have a big booty. I got 50 inches of ass. No joke. So that can make it kind of seem like I'm, whatever. But in all honesty, I'm there to do a job, and I'm busy doing what I need to do, engaging with the audience and making them laugh. So that absolutely irks me when someone tries to play me for a big booty, and then I have to show them that it's a nice head on top of that, too. You know what I'm saying? saying?
Absolutely right. Yeah, I can agree with that. Absolutely. You know, like, look, my eyes are up here. Right, look at me.
Right up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Let's see. Got a couple more questions. One from Alexandria. She wants to know, is it possible to find love as a comedian, or are you analyzing everybody?
Is it possible to fall in love with a comedian, or are we analyzing everybody?
Yeah.
We're analyzing everybody.
Yeah.
It's just how a comedian minds work, or even a regular entertainer. It's just a different thought pattern. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're going to be in a relationship with that person, you got to come up with a safe word and let them know when they're pushing the limit, or you're going to have to find a way to find that balance for yourself to say, I don't give a fuck what they're thinking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Like, you can't be able to say, oh, he said he was thinking, shit. Listen, when you get done with them thoughts, come downstairs, it's time to eat. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't nobody got time for that. So, you know, the decision is hers, for anyone that she intends to engage with in her life. But if they're in that type of mindset, she definitely needs to make sure what her boundaries are and what her limitations are.
Right on. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory right there. Bam, right in your face. So
my daddy would be proud.
Right, yeah, right. I can hear my grandparents now. Like,
That's
wow.
the shit my dad used to say. You need to know your boundaries and your limitations, and they're always two separate things.
This is
you know
true.
what I mean?
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Lu, it's been absolutely fun hanging out with you tonight. We have one thing left to do before we head out the door here. So we do a segment at the end of every week called Douche Bag Criminals. And this segment is particularly for the criminals that are doing completely stupid crimes that are just totally wasting our air. And so we pick one to three every week, but this week we had one in particular that really stuck out to us. This week's Douchebag Criminals is powered by Lynette's Country Barbecue, my man Larry Trimmer, and everybody over there at Lynette's Country Barbecue. If you haven't had a chance, check out some great barbecue, man. Get a hold of my man Larry and tell him that Antman sent you. Give him a call, 740-304-5303. Use the hashtag MusicFamiliaForLife. You get 5 to 10% off of your catering deal when you call them. So make sure you do that. But our douchebag criminal of the night, so it turns out that a man was arrested for scrawling "Kill Arabs" on an elementary school earlier this past week. The Brooklyn man was accused of painting "Kill Arabs" and "Muslims Suck" on a Sheepshead Bay Elementary School doors, as well as the Salvation Army store's windows. Allegedly told police after his arrest that he regretted what he did. Alan Tatton was charged with criminal mischief and aggravated harassment, both as hate crimes for spray painting the statements on multiple entrances. And he lives just a block away from the school. After he was arrested, Tatton told cops that he did something stupid and that he shouldn't have done it, according to a complaint filed in Brooklyn criminal court. Tatton allegedly spray painted the hateful words on the school and then walked several blocks to a nearby Salvation Army, where he sprayed the words "Kill Arabs" on the Salvation Army windows. The Salvation Army had to have the panes of glass taken out and completely replaced because they couldn't get the paint off of the windows. And while hate crimes were up drastically throughout the city through the beginning of June, anti-Muslim incidents were actually down 25% from 8 anti-Muslim hate crimes in 2018 to 6 in 2019. According to police statistics, the city moved up to the opening of its new Office of Hate Crime Prevention to this summer, hoping to stem the tide of hate crimes across New York. Tatton was released under supervision after appearing in court on actually today. And he's represented by Chris Paul Perks of the Legal Aid Society. So we'll see how this plays out. But I guarantee you there are people in his neighborhood petitioning for him to not live there. I can almost guarantee it. But that's our Douchebag Criminal of the Night. But Sista Lu, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and thank you for doing what you do as a female comedian and as a female putting up with all of us males today.
Well, it's not just putting up with anything. We always find our lane. So we find a way to make it work together. At least the good ones do. Yes,
ma'am. I totally agree with that. So one more time, where can they find you on social media?
I have a Facebook page. I actually have two of them. The first one is SISTALU, Sista Lu, and then the other one is Lulu360. Either way, you can find out where I'm performing next and get some of my live videos.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
And I'm soon to be coming to a city near you.
Well, you're in my city, so I can't wait to see you. And I'm excited to see your next performance. Definitely let us know where you're going to be, and I'll promote the show and get everybody out there to come see you for sure.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you guys in the audience, and afterwards we can go take shots at the bar.
Hell to the yeah. I'm down for that.
Yes.
All right, Sista Lu. Well, we are out of time. We're going to be heading out the door. If you guys are out there, man, make sure you guys support Sista Lu and get out there and see a live show, whether it be music or comedy. It's good for the soul. Make sure you do that. And I am your host, Antman, for the show. And just so you guys know, all the music and music videos aired are not ours. We give all the rights to the artists and musicians who create these works. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Music Familia Productions. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Music Familia Productions. I'll see you next Thursday for a brand new Antman Versus, guys. Have a great week and weekend. Stay hydrated. It's supposed to be Ohio out this weekend. All right, guys. Have a good night, Sista Lu.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. That's kisses for all of you, except the ugly ones.
Have a good weekend, guys.